Have you ever wondered how a simple textile workshop could turn into one of the biggest car companies in the world? Or how a Japanese brand managed to rise from the ashes of World War II and now sells cars in more than 170 countries? And why, even after almost 90 years, the name Toyota still means reliability and trust for millions? I've always been curious about the story behind that simple red and silver logo. A story that began in a small workshop in 1930s Japan and today reaches factories where a new car rolls off the line every few seconds. So let's go back in time, to the days when Toyota Motor didn't even exist yet. Back then, around 1890, Japan was just coming out of its feudal era. Modern industry barely existed, and most people were still farmers. In the middle of that, a man named Sakichi Toyota appeared. He was an inventor, obsessed with creating machines that could make life easier. His goal was simple: to build a loom that could weave fabric faster and more accurately. The result? Japan's first automatic loom. It changed everything. For the first time, Japan could compete in textile exports and join the global market. But our story doesn't end there. Sakichi's son, Kichiro Toyota, had a different dream. He was fascinated by cars, something almost non-existent in Japan at the time. He believed that Japan shouldn't just import cars from the West, it should build its own. So, in 1933, he founded an automotive division inside his father's company. 2 years later, in 1935, the first Toyota truck was born. At that time, the company name was still Toyota with a D. But they soon changed it to Toyota because it sounded smoother in Japanese. And fun fact, it had exactly 8 strokes when written in katakana, a lucky number in Japanese culture. In 1937, Toyota Motor Company officially came to life. But the world was entering its darkest period, World War II. Toyota was forced to build trucks for the Japanese army. Times were tough, both economically and morally. And after the war, Japan was in ruins. Factories were destroyed, resources were scarce, and no one could afford to buy a car. Still, Kichiro didn't give up. He believed that through quality and persistence, Japanese industry could be reborn. In 1947, Toyota came back with a small car called the SA, a modest model but a symbol of hope. The 1950s were dominated by American automakers. But Toyota was quietly learning. Its engineers visited the United States, studied Ford's assembly lines, and took detailed notes. The result was something revolutionary: the Toyota production system. Its main idea? Eliminate waste, focus on quality. They called it Kaizen, continuous improvement. This philosophy didn't just shape Toyota, it inspired entire industries, from healthcare to tech. In 1957, Toyota entered the US market with the Toyota Crown. It failed. The car was too slow for American highways. But they didn't quit. A few years later, new models appeared, and one of them changed everything: the Corolla. It became one of the best-selling cars in history, with over 50 million units sold worldwide. In the decades that followed, Toyota kept growing. In 1989, it launched Lexus, its luxury division. And in 1997, it shocked the world again with the Prius, the first mass-produced hybrid car. At the time, no one believed a gas-electric car could have a future. But Toyota's focus on sustainability and efficiency opened a brand new era in automotive history. The numbers speak for themselves. Today, Toyota produces over 10 million vehicles a year. It operates in more than 30 countries, and by 2024, it has invested over $75 billion in green technologies, from hydrogen engines to AI-assisted driving. Of course, not everything has been perfect. In 2010, Toyota faced its biggest crisis ever: the recall of over 8 million vehicles due to accelerator pedal issues. Its reputation took a hit. But true to its philosophy, Toyota responded with transparency and reform. It invested millions into safety research and rebuilt its quality systems from the ground up. That comeback restored public trust, again. Today, Toyota's story is no longer just about cars. They're building a prototype smart city called Woven City at the foot of Mount Fuji. a living lab where AI, clean energy, and robotics come together. Their goal is bold: to create a city where humans, machines, and nature coexist in harmony. At the same time, Toyota is working on self-driving technologies, assistive robots for the elderly, and even partnerships in space exploration. And what's fascinating is that after all these years, the company still follows its original spirit: continuous improvement and respect for people. From a single weaving machine to millions of cars, a century-long journey of learning, failure, and innovation. So next time you drive a Camry, a Corolla, or a Land Cruiser, remember, you're riding on a piece of that story. But the real question is, in a world racing toward electric cars, AI, and autonomous mobility, can Toyota stay the leader? Or will a new startup rise, just like Toyota once challenged Ford? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe your answer will be part of the next chapter of this story.